As we get older, we tend to ask a lot less questions. My philosophy while designing is to be a kid and question the status quo. After all, when I was a kid, I used to ask so many questions like, Mom, why is the sky blue? Why do I have to go to school? How does glue not get stuck to the inside of the bottle? But somewhere along the way, you just start accepting the way things are and not asking questions. So I try to do just the opposite of that. And my latest question while browsing the greeting card aisle was, why do the affordable greeting cards seem to follow this convention? This one says, You've always been so wonderful in all you say and do that there aren't wishes nice enough to make today for you. But perhaps this birthday message will show in some degree the love, the thoughts, dear mother, meant for you especially. Beautiful. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but have you actually ever said something like that to your mom? And I think a lot of the traditional cards are like this. Cards are all the same size, there's some pretty floral graphic inside, there's room for you to write your message, and then there's some sort of heartfelt text on the right side. Well, independent card creator Emily McDowell once said that cards need to be more reflective of what people really say to each other. So, for example, what would it really be like if you were messaging your mom? It'd probably be something more like this. And I definitely found some examples of funny cards online that break this trend, but they're often pretty expensive and do follow some sort of traditional convention of a similar size card and a message tethered to the right hand side of the inside. So I went back to the basics and I just started sketching. And the question I asked was, what does a fold over greeting card like this afford? What sort of actions? And affordance, as described by Don Norman, is an action that can be taken that can be perceived by someone. To me, the current card layout has a lot of untapped affordances that we're just not using. A card can be turned upside down, inside out, flipped around, fit inside of another card. There's so many possibilities that could actually lend itself to, I believe, more interesting cards. The negative space inside of the card affords writing a personal message, and the personal message is arguably the card's most important trait. So I started sketching some different ideas for another style of card. What if it was small and square and has minimal text on the outside? And on the inside, it plays with the size of the text, large or small to really hold the emotion of the message, using negative space, and have text not just trapped on the right side, but free to span anywhere it wants. The next question is one I asked of other people. Do you keep your cards? And most people said they like to keep the messages in order to reread them, but they do wish they could regift the outside of the card since they're not going to use those again. And to me, this was an important finding because it's the message, not the card itself, that's so key. So I wanted to try an idea. Create a removable insert made of tracing paper that actually goes inside the card for the personal message. The card then goes inside the envelope, and the envelope could be made out of old book pages to cut costs. And the cool part is the card could then be regifted to someone with a new insert. The insert format could be up to the person, a normal piece of paper, tracing paper, sandwich bag with Sharpie on it, anything. But the card could live on and circulate instead of just being in a box. And people may be not doing this right now, but my question was, are they not because it's not an option or not accepted? And for those who like the idea of writing directly on the card, negative space would still give them the ability to do this. From here, I started sketching ideas for humorous cards that really pulled in the idea of the text styles that mirrored the emotion. I tried thinking outside of the convention and let the text span across the card for dramatic effect. And here are some ideas that I came up with. I then printed the ideas and used wax paper as a prototype for the removable insert. I have showed them to a few friends, and my plans are to print them on thicker paper and hand them out to friends on birthdays and holidays. And I think reimagining greeting cards just doesn't end here. You often give cards throughout the year to the same people, close friends, family. What if the cards came in a set that fit together like puzzle pieces and actually made a puzzle over time for the recipient? If there's one thing I've learned from this project, it's that designing something new just starts with being curious and simply asking the question of, well, why is this the convention? Thank you for listening.